Roman Reigns opens up on his experience of working alongside Paul Heyman in WWE. Former WWE Champion rips into the company for breaking up the Hurt Business, and 2 new matches added to NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Hello everyone, Jose G here bringing you today's top stories in today's Sportskeeda Wrestling News Roundup. Roman Reigns opens up on his experience of working alongside Paul Heyman in WWE. Roman Reigns has opened up on his experience of working alongside Paul Heyman so far. Without giving away too much of Heyman's valuable lessons, the Tribal Chief said that he is the type of person who is willing to do anything to bring out the best of the person he is working with. During an interview with ESPN's Ariel Helwani, Roman Reigns mentioned that it was Vince McMahon's idea to pair the Universal Champion with Heyman in the first place, saying, quote, "To be honest, if I have to give credit to anybody, I'd say Vince. But it wouldn't have happened if we weren't on board, and if Paul was like, no way, or I was like, no way. It wouldn't have happened. But ultimately, a decision like that goes back to the big man." End quote. The reigning WWE Universal Champion added that there's still a lot for him to learn from Heyman. Without giving away too many details, Roman Reigns said that Heyman's ability to attack things is something that fascinates him. Reigns also added that Heyman is willing to do whatever it takes for him to bring out the best of the superstar he is working with. At WrestleMania 37, Roman Reigns will put his WWE Universal Championship on the line against Edge and Daniel Bryan. The Tribal Chief is expected to be accompanied to ringside by Heyman as he aims to walk out of the grandest stage of them all as the champion. Former WWE Champion rips into the company for breaking up the Hurt Business. WWE broke up the Hurt Business on Monday Night Raw, and Batista isn't happy about it. The WWE Universe took to social media on Monday during Raw and were very vocal about the decision to split up arguably one of the most popular stables in years. Former WWE Champion Batista took to social media earlier in the week to join the conversation and make his opinion on the Hurt Business breakup abundantly clear. Batista knows a thing or two about being a part of a famous WWE stable. Evolution dominated WWE Raw brand from 2003 to 2005. Anchored by Triple H and Ric Flair, the faction created household names in Randy Orton and Batista. Had WWE split the stable early, who knows what would have happened to Batista or Orton in the long term. If Bobby Lashley goes into WrestleMania and drops the WWE Championship to Drew McIntyre, what's next for him? Will he be in the main event or get pushed back down to the mid-card without the Hurt Business to play off of? MVP continues to state on Twitter that the Hurt Business still exists, but unless they choose to add new members over the next several weeks and rebuild the group, it's pretty much dead. WWE will play out the future of the Hurt Business over the next couple of weeks. If there isn't a new group together by the Raw after WrestleMania, one shouldn't have any hope of seeing this group continue. Edge gives his thought on Christian joining AEW. Edge wants his best friend to be happy. After Christian's return to the ring at the 2021 Royal Rumble, the WWE Universe immediately began to fantasy book what he would do next. No one could have predicted that he would end up in AEW a month later. Edge was a guest on this week's Sports Illustrated Media podcast to talk about all things WWE. When the subject of Christian signing with AEW came up, the interviewer asked Edge if he was disappointed about his friend not staying with WWE. The Rated R superstar provided an emotional response, saying, quote, "I'm not bummed. I want him to be happy, and I want him to get the respect that he deserves, because I'd like for him to get on that on-air respect that the locker room shows him. If you ask anyone within our industry, he is a name where people go, man, that dude. Watch Steve and Randy talk about Christian and what he brings to the table. I want him to be wherever he's going to get that respect." End quote. Edge made it very clear that regardless of what the company is, he wants Christian to be happy and hopes that they can go out on their own terms instead of being forced into retirement. Roman Reigns sent a warning to former UFC Heavyweight Champion. Roman Reigns has said that he prefers having one-on-one matches instead of triple threat showdowns. The Tribal Chief believes that in singles competition, he can smash his opponents, whether it's Daniel Bryan, Edge, or former UFC Heavyweight Champion Daniel Cormier. During his recent interview with ESPN's Ariel Helwani, Roman Reigns put Cormier on notice, stating that he would smash the former UFC double champion. The reigning Universal Champion said that the only way DC would have a chance against him is if he came out from behind his desk and got back in into the gym, saying, quote, "I like one-on-ones, to be honest. I'd smash anybody, whether it's Daniel Bryan one-on-one, Edge one-on-one, DC, I'll smash him one-on-one. Get him from behind the table and get him back in the gym. Maybe he could have a chance. I don't know, it would be a short story," end quote. Having retired from MMA in 2020, Daniel Cormier seems to be enjoying his life as a coach, commentator, and analyst. However, there have been talks of DC possibly signing with WWE in the past, with Roman Reigns putting DC on notice ahead of the former's big WrestleMania 37 match. It's unknown how the former UFC Heavyweight Champion will respond to the latest call-out. 2 new matches added to NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver just got more stacked than it already is. During this week's NXT, WWE added 2 more matches to what is shaping up to be an impressive 2-night card. Pete Dunne and Kushida will face off on night 1 of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver to prove the better technical wrestler. WWE also added NXT Women's Tag Team title match on night 2. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell will challenge champions Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. With a 2-night TakeOver event, it seemed like the brand's champions would defend every title. But as the go-home episode of NXT went on, the Women's Tag Team titles were the only belts left without the match at TakeOver. It didn't take long for that to change after LeRae and Hartwell defeated Gigi Dolan and Zeta Ramir. Pete Dunne set forth a challenge to a few weeks ago to prove that he is the best technical wrestler of all NXT. For that reason, it seemed that he'd be penciled in for a match at NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. A week later, Kushida cut a promo to call himself the best technical wrestler in the business. The two then had a brief confrontation backstage on the go-home episode of NXT. Fast forward to the main event of NXT, the Gauntlet Eliminator Battle Royale. During the middle of the match, Dunne and Kushida started fighting and both were eliminated at the same time. Kushida had the armbar locked in as 2 men went over the ropes. The question heading into NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver now is, will this new match be hardest hitting affair, or will Walter and Tommaso Ciampa chop each other into oblivion over the NXT UK Championship? Whatever the case may be, wrestling fans are set to witness 2 nights featuring some of the best wrestling of the year. WrestleMania 37 will certainly have a tough act to follow after NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Thanks for watching today's Sportskeeda Wrestling News Roundup. For more news stories, be sure to follow us on all social media. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.